Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
Being 6:30, I'll call this meeting of the Westminster Select Board to order. Adjustments to the agenda. I have one. I'd like an executive session to address 2 personnel matters, and we'll have the town manager in for one of them and not for the other. We could go, that worked in there? Oh, sorry. Let's put it under after other business. No, after date of next meeting, before adjournment. So, yeah. I don't expect there to be any decisions made, but I can't promise. Any other adjustments? Okay, acceptance of minutes.
What date are you going to do?
I'm sorry, July 22nd, well, for the July 22nd meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes of July 22nd as written.
Is there a second? Are you reading them? Moved by Craig, seconded by, are you waving your hand to speak? Seconded by Toby. Any discussion of the minutes of July 22nd? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Accepted. Minutes of the meeting of July 29th, 2020.
Toby, you should speak into your mic. Turn it on.
Yeah, put your...
July 29th as printed.
I'll second for discussion, even though I wasn't there.
Moved by Toby, seconded by Craig to accept the minutes of July 29th. Discussion? Did you want to read them? No, okay.
I'm all set.
You're all set. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes of the meeting of July 29th, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Accepted. Communications and public comments. Community Improvement Loan Program. Do we have anyone from that committee by Zoom or otherwise?
Yes, Susan, I'm here. Nathan Stoddard.
Yep, thanks, Nate.
If there's any questions for me, I talked to the other members of this committee the other night, and I wasn't clear. Nobody had mentioned to me what we were on this agenda for, so I'm here for any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. I think we've been talking about this for a year. We're just getting around to it, but I think my concern is how we can get more people to apply for loans from the program, and how we can do that, how we can help you do that, what you think needs to happen. More information out there, more stuff on the website, or maybe plenty of people have applied, we just haven't heard. So what is the demand, I guess, Nate?
Yeah, no, good question. I don't know when I started on this, 3-4 years ago. In those, let's just say 4 years, I've received 2 actual applications and maybe 2 more, phone calls. Of the applications, one was a sibling of a parent. the parent lived in Westminster, the parent passed, the sibling wanted to fix the house up so they could resell it. And I advised them that wasn't under the purview of the program. The other applicant, once they found out that this was a loan, even though it could be low or zero interest, that it was a loan from the town, and the town would then hold a lien on their property or on their deed, they elected not to go any further. And then the other two general questions, somebody was looking to, for the lack of a better term, add like a mini split to their home, just for supplemental heat and air conditioning. And again, I told them it wasn't another purview of the program based off of the directions that I can see in the pamphlet that the town has made up and is available to folks. But to answer your question, sure. Yeah. Get it out there, put it out there for folks to know. I don't pay attention if it's in the Gazette or not, but yeah, anything, website, Gazette, that might help. Especially with, with what's going on and folks maybe being out of work and income's tough for people. I mean, because this is an income sensitive program. I don't believe there's a specific income guideline or number within the program's guidelines. My assumption it probably would follow, if this came up, is just to somebody's income, and the board and the select board would then have to make the decision, maybe based on, what the state says, the state poverty level, 200% of median income, that's basically what the state poverty level is. So we would have to gauge, folks' income to whether or not they're deemed applicable for this program. But no, there's just not been much traction.
And you said the select board would have to decide. Wouldn't that be something for the committee to decide, or?
So the committee, when I was on the select board, even before I was on this committee years ago, we actually had one come. It has to eventually go in front of the select board. The select board has to approve the loan. The select board generally just approves it based off of the recommendation of this committee, because it is a confidentiality issue.
Right.
No information, no names are given at a particular select board meeting, but it's put out there that there is an applicant, and this committee would say that, they recommend it because they do feel the need is there and necessary, blah, blah, blah. And then the board essentially ultimately has to approve the grant or the loan.
And the pamphlet, is that something that you updated, or it's just been around for a while? And I haven't looked at it, so I don't know how extensive it is. Is it outdated?
No, it's pretty good. I mean, it's just of all the basic information of what the program could be used for, how to apply, the basic general information. Generally, when I hear of a request, what I send out is that pamphlet, a page. All this was given to me, by the way, a page that highlights how the program works and what the steps are. And again, to be quite honest with you, as probably many people know, the steps to apply for a car loan and a house loan and any loans is daunting sometimes. So to be quite honest with you, the steps to apply in this program for this quote unquote loan is very similar to applying for a home equity line of credit or anything like that. So I think, in my opinion, there's probably, unfortunately, some discouragement from going forward with this based off of the 2 or 3 that, people that were like, oh, well, I can't take on another loan, was actually one comment from a phone call that I had.
Yeah.
And it's just by nature of what this is. CSBG, I think this came from either USDA or it had something to do with Westminster Meats Properties and USDA and CSBG. That's where all this money comes from. Years ago, again, Craig and Toby were on the board. If they remember, a woman from someplace, USDA or somebody, came to us and told us at a board meeting, you have to use this money or you're at risk of losing it, or you have, you know what I'm saying? You have to maintain a level of giving this money out.
Huh.
I don't know if that's
Uh-huh.
still the fact. I have no idea, but so there may need to be some research to find out, what the ins and outs of this program are, because I don't really understand that part of it.
And what does the committee do? What do you feel is your part in this?
So it's my understanding that we basically walk an applicant through the process. We take their application. Like I said, I send out this packet, the pamphlet, an explanation of how it works. This packet that has areas for them to fill out their income, fill out their expenses, fill out a fairly detailed description of what they want the money for. They need estimates, might even need 3 estimates. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but
yeah,
they need estimates. And then, my basic understanding, I haven't gotten this far, but my understanding would be that this committee would meet, have a discussion about, do they meet the requirements, and say yay or nay and pass it to the select board with our recommendation. Again, I've not even gotten that far with any of them in 4 years.
Yeah. And would your committee be the people who would be the contacts for people, if it were on the website, would be call Nate Stoddard, call Peter Stam, who's ever on the committee, for an application and more information?
I would, historically what's happened is they've gone to the town to request information. And I was notified from Allie, I'm assuming, I don't really recall, but was given notice that, hey, we have somebody that's looking for an application. And all 4 times I called them, had a discussion. Yep. Sent out the packet, and so I would assume that that's what the role of this committee would be. I would think all that front end work probably should and really needs to go through the town. It's a town program. We're the committee to administer it. So questions, comments about the program, if somebody wanting to apply, should start at the town level, and then the town can disseminate it out to this committee. For what it's worth, and this maybe is a question for the select board, or you and the select board, or Russ. I don't understand the structure of this committee. I believe it's just an ad hoc committee. So I'm not sure that we're bound by open meeting law and minutes and all that. Although I do feel it probably prudent to have a chair of this committee. And I haven't heard back from the other members yet, but we're trying to throw together a meeting between the 3 of us to lay that out, to at least have a chair, so that there's a point person for the town.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that. We're trying to set that up for tomorrow.
Great.
But I do think it should start and funnel information-wise through the town to this committee.
Yeah, I think maybe the start would be to get the information from the pamphlet, get the pamphlet on the website, and have it somewhere obvious where people could find it, so that they could easily find information and know where to go from there. I mean, my concern is, we have $250,000 sitting there doing nothing, and it sure would be great to be used by people, that's for sure. So
yeah, no, definitely. One thing I know, myself and the other 2 committee members have been bouncing around with each other, is we don't know who currently has loans, what their current status of their payment schedule is, examples of interest, because to be honest with you, the interest rate for these loans is also something that is under our purview to set.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even begin to know what kind of an interest rate, 0, 1, 0.9.
Yeah.
I mean, I just helped my grandparents buy a car the other day and they got a 0.85 interest rate. So I don't know where I was going with that, but anyhow.
Yeah.
We're looking for some information to help the town keep track of this if it needs to be. I mean, Allie in the past has told me, hey, just in passing when I questioned her years ago, where are we at with this? Oh, well, so-and-so's been paying, so-and-so hasn't been paying. We haven't seen a payment from this one in years. So there's money out there. And our committee, I'm sure, would be definitely willing to get that, payment structures and loan agreements that are currently out there into our hands.
Yeah. Do we have a list of that? Does Ally have those lists? Can we get that to the committee, Russ?
Absolutely. We were actually looking at it today for this meeting. So
yeah.
Yes, it's all written down. There's payment schedules for them, interest rates, etc. So Ally has all that information.
Yeah.
Sue?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Being that I've been on it long enough that we went through, Nate, in the past, we'd be at least 2 or 3 times a year, Fletcher and the group would come to us and give us an overview of what was going on, how much they were owed, and what they were working on. And then maybe in at least once a year, they would go over the overview, and at least twice they would come in with, hey, we're working on this person wants a roof and this, that, just to keep us. But really, I don't ever meet with one of the customers, nor do I really remember their names or anything. It was all taken care of by Fletcher and the committee, and they walked them through it. And sometimes they would come back with a second loan for something else. But the committee at the time took care of everything, not the select board, other than, he's right, we made the final decision, but we were leaning on their expertise of what the amount would be and everything.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. And that's why getting that information to this committee, we can definitely, my feeling is we can definitely then front that part of this. We can keep track of that. Be happy to come in there a couple times a year and say, hey, like I just said, I've had 4 phone calls in 4 years. There's your update.
Yeah.
But no, definitely. And absolutely. And Peter and Fran, those are the questions we had. Is we don't even know where the money is and what's out there. So I definitely think we can take that on, and under the supervision of the town, obviously. But no, definitely.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it was always confusing, and that's why you had to hold their hand so much. But kind of nice that we've been through this long enough, and if we do something in the Gazette, if you could find a case of what actually worked, so that people read it and go, oh, okay,
yeah,
that's similar to what I'm looking for. I know we did somebody's roof. I know we did somebody's foundation for a tank. If we could find 1 or 2 and put an example that this person came, they borrowed this much money and they paid it back, and then it's a little more easier for people to understand maybe of what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good idea. I'm sure this committee in some form would be happy to put up or write up some sort of write up for the Gazette that would highlight that. When we get all that, I don't know. So yeah, we get the information, be happy to work on getting something written up.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I'm glad you're meeting. That's great, Nate. And Russ will be getting the list of people holding loans to you, and we'll find where, I'll take a look at the pamphlet, which I haven't seen, and we should be able to get that on the website with any luck. And that's a great start.
Yeah. Yep. Let me know if you don't find any extra copies of any of that stuff laying around. I have them. Actually scanned it and emailed it all to my fellow committee members a couple weeks ago. So
the pamphlet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can even drop off an actual pamphlet. If this gains traction, we're probably going to need more pamphlets and need more application. I mean, I can print off the applications, but definitely
we should print them up at the town.
If this gains traction, we're going to need more. I think I have maybe like 6. So.
Yeah. Good. Anybody else have any questions for Nate? Comments?
Thank you, Nate. Really.
Yeah. Thanks very much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, no, and now that we have actual 3 board members that we've been communicating back and forth very well, and I think this committee hasn't been on a hole for many, many years. I mean, so hopefully it can get this ball rolling a little bit better for our residents and for the town.
Yeah, good timing too, that's for sure. Okay, thank you. Anything else on that? Okay, unfinished business. Savage Gravel Pit, update.
Late this afternoon, M&W Soils Engineering sent us a report. I copied the first 2 pages for you folks. I've looked at it briefly, but I haven't had a chance to do any true scoping. Like I said, it came in late this afternoon, and so I'll have definitely more information at the next meeting.
Is there anything that timely that we have to make decisions on or do or look at, Russ?
Not to this report, no.
Okay.
So you're going to come back with a report of a summary?
This is the first 4 pages of the report, and all that you didn't get were the borings. And if you're interested in it, I'll definitely copy them. But if you're not, then this is pretty much it. But like I said, I didn't have time to go through it and not, give a recommendation or et cetera. So you're getting it as fast as I'm getting it. So
this is the second set of borings?
This is both of them combined.
Okay.
This is the complete package for the $4,500 that we had estimated.
All right. Well, we can discuss it at next meeting if there's nothing that is timely that we have to do. We're good? You're going to say something, Craig?
I wasn't, but Russ, this is public information, so if Nate wanted a copy of it, he can come and
Absolutely.
get it.
I just, like I said, I whipped up a few copies for this meeting, grabbed them and ran.
I know Nate was interested. It'd be nice to have somebody like Nate look at it too.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, any more comments on that? Questions? Petition from Kimball Hill Road South on the motorized vehicle restrictions. Guess we can take those one at a time. Russ, you said you had some recommendations.
Kimball Hill Road South is classified as a Class 4 unpassable road by VTrans and Wyndham Regional. I've walked both of these roads, taking one at a time. Kimball Hill Road is exactly what it's classified, unpassable. There's a ravine in there that is washed completely out. It's very walker friendly, but it's not motor vehicle friendly. It does still have posts up at the south end. And if anybody's interested, I did take colored pictures of the whole walk, and I can pass these around. I've talked to Chuck, and both our concerns are that if we block these off with something more than just a gate, something that the firefighters and the rescue can cut the lock and push it open and go, would be a travesty because we need access into that forest, both of those, if something happened, fire, injury. And right now, like I said, at the entrance of the south end, we have posts up that an individual put in many years ago, and they would not stop a fire truck going through. They would be able to take them out and go. Mm-hmm. So our recommendation, as in Chuck and I talking informally, was that if you so chose, put signs up, but don't block these roads. It's unfortunate that we were hindered in the last couple months by bikes. It was obvious, and Sheldon walked these also, came to the same conclusion. Not a lot of damage was done to the surface for erosion purposes. So I think the companies that were sending people there have now put up a notice for both of these that they're off limits. to their travel. I hope that's enough. And so if you so choose to do a site walk, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, well,
But anyway, so
okay. Well, I mean, first I want to say, I didn't get the impression that residents wanted us to put gates up. I think, if I'm correct, they were mostly interested in a sign that said no motorized vehicle. That's what I remember.
I was listening to them. I thought it was two parts. One was concerned about the trail, but the one that bothered me more than, and I sympathized with them, was that people were turning around in their yards. So my thinking was, could we do something so that people wouldn't get that far down and actually have to turn around in their yard or park in their yard? I don't know. Because that's what I kept hearing some days. Yeah, they come in and they block our yard, or they turn around in our yard and they meet there.
Kimball Hill Road, north and south ends, both start the trail at where the town stops and turns around.
So there's parking area for people.
There is parking there, walk it, but without being a hindrance to the folks around it. I don't see that as being as obtrusive as the traffic is what they were saying, I thought. But anyway, to see it Kimball Hill Road is not it's not passable. It's got trees across it now, and there's a very large ravine. So a sign saying no motorized vehicles beyond this point.
Yeah. And Sheldon, you walked both places, or?
Yep.
What did you think?
And the only difference that I saw was on Windmill Hill North, where the town actually stops maintaining. It's what did I say it was 0.5 of a mile, I think, from the sign where the town stops maintaining to the last driveway on that road. And there is a trail sign. There is trail signs on that one. And I didn't see a lot of evidence of motorcycles at that time. So that was a week and a half ago.
So perhaps the no motorized vehicle sign could also would work on Windmill Hill, or, but where would it be? Would it be 0.5 miles after the town maintenance?
I'd put it right where the trail sign is and where we stop maintaining the road, I think, if it were me. On both ends, actually, wouldn't you, Russ?
I'm sorry, I was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you sign it, if you were going to put signage up, you'd put it right where we stop maintaining the town road?
Absolutely, because there's big ass turnarounds right there where they can park and they can turn around and not infringe on anybody's yard.
Yeah.
So they're very well done in that we can turn around very easily in both spots. So yes, I would definitely recommend the signs be placed there.
Is that something you want to come back with on a price, or you want us to give you a go ahead, or what?
Signs are signs. They're $200 ish one way or another. That really honestly isn't the issue. Signage. You want to place new signs up.
Yeah. Is this Mr. Feinberg behind me? Okay, come on up.
You have to push the button.
Okay.
You have to hold it.
Oh, good. I'll address, there are two different places, so two different issues. On Kimball Hill Road south, that's unpassable for four-wheel vehicles, but for motorcycles, dirt bikes, like what we ride, enduro bikes, trail bikes, it's not. We go through there quite often. We've actually have a small trail off to the side of where the ravine is that we follow. The incident that happened with Martha and those other bikers, that was an anomaly as far as I'm concerned. There were some people that should not have been there anyways. That is not a published route at all. No one, the rest of the world does not know about that. They just must have stumbled onto it, looked at a map and said, hey, let's try going down here. And because I've never heard of anyone else going down there except for us. So, I'm not sure. We would like to maintain that trail. Yeah.
You know that that tree's been across there?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's no trail around it?
there is.
There is a trail around it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we actually go over that tree sometimes too. Dirt bikes are quite amazing at what we can do. So if you've never seen it or ridden one, then it's a different thing. Anyways, so, you know, the people that I ride with, we're more than happy to maintain that trail for us. And for, you know, single track, one track, not a big wide thing, just to skirt around through there. We use it as a transit from basically Governor Hill, down West Road through there to Saxon's River, so then we can go off into the vast trails which are north of Saxon's River. If we lose that access, then we just have to ride on the road, and all our bikes are street legal, but it just means a long, windy, you know, a bunch of bikes going down the pavement.
And how often do you use that?
We might go down there once every 2 months, maybe, not very often. Because we have organized rides, usually Tuesday or Wednesday nights, and we kind of move them all around. And then on the weekends, my friend Phil and I, we're the most local riders, we go through there once in a while, but not very often. And so our concern is just that, you know, if you put up a no motorized vehicle sign, yeah, it's there, but we're still going to use it.
Right. And what's your relationship with the landowners that are?
Very good. Martha and I had a big, long conversation, and she's more than willing to help. I asked her if she would help me because she's a soil scientist, to actually lay out a single track trail through there that would be appropriate for the types of soils. And we do not, like, you know, skid and roost and do all those kinds of things. We just ride. It's just like any road. We're just trying to get from one spot to the other.
Later I will,
And yeah, so that's Kimball Hill south. As far as Windmill Hill goes, that is a little bit more often used by us. And I know that the backcountry discovery route people, the national organization that published it on their maps, has taken off their maps. I don't think there's been any bikes through there in the last 3 weeks because they're not publicizing. They say actually on their website, do not go here. This is bad. Okay.
They've been going another way.
They go another way. They go through Tavern Hill. Yeah, they go Aiken Road, Tavern Hill, around, and then West Street, and then Hickory Ridge to my house in West. So they've kind of skirted around on the regular legal dirt roads. And I just don't know if there's going to be any more traffic through there than there has been for the last 50 years. You know, I mean, that has been open to motor vehicle traffic all this time. We use it. There's a few local kids on ATVs that might come through there once in a while. But yeah, I don't know. And I was surprised, you know, when the guys were saying that there's a vernal pond there and everything. Well, if that's the case, then mountain bikes should not be there. And I don't think they would be happy with that idea at all. And again, that is a trail that we've been looking at to say, hey, maybe we should start doing a little maintenance on this trail to keep it good for everybody. You know, there's plenty of examples around the country. Pisgah Park is a multi-use trail for bikes, ATVs, hikers, horses, and everyone gets along. Tall Pines in New York, there's Hartman's Rock in Colorado. All these places are multi-use, and everyone gets along. Everyone takes care of the trails, and
But those are parks.
those are parks.
So that's
True.
different from just residential.
True, but it can be treated as the same as a place that is used by many people, that can be maintained by many people. You know, it's not something we want to see destroyed. You know, I mean, I'm pretty much a tree hugger myself, but I do ride bikes. That's my one bad habit. But we make trails and we try to maintain them so that they're erosion friendly. They have the proper water bars in them. They follow the contours. So that's where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's obviously apparently not the local people who are a problem, as we heard last week. I mean, as far as Kimball Hill, I like the idea of putting up the no motorized vehicle and sign, and you deal with Martha, and that's all great. You can be a scofflaw and, ignore the sign as long as you're all happy. But I don't know.
Break the law,
Yeah.
personally.
Right. Yeah, we don't want you breaking the law, but.
Yeah. Good solution. So
Yeah.
what we're trying to offer is an alternative,
Uh-huh.
A way to maintain the trails, maintain control over it to some degree, keep it as quiet and local as possible.
Yeah.
Anyone on a bike that comes down there and looks down there is just going to say, oh no, we're not going to go down there.
Yeah.
You can't even see where we go, because even Russ, when he walked down there, didn't see our tracks. We hide them pretty well. So we don't want a lot of people going through there either, because it's just going to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think, board? What's your feeling on the? I mean,
When I did Windmill Hill, and I said something to Russ about it, the signs, the trail signs there are pretty much unreadable at this point in time.
That's correct.
And those probably should be, I think, those should be replaced, or I believe they should be. Which pretty well, because the trail signs pretty well document what the town's responsible for and what it's not. I read it to you, but
Yes, it is. It's very clear with legal trails what we can and can't do.
what the town can do and what the town will do and what they won't do. So I don't think I'd change that one too much.
Sheldon, is there such a thing as a sign that says no authorization motor vehicles allowed?
I mean, unauthorized.
No, unauthorized.
Yeah, unauthorized, yeah, there you go. So then he could get authorization from somebody to do it and he'd be fine. But anybody coming in from somewhere will realize they don't have, if they're not authorized to go there, they can't go.
I mean, it sounds like that would definitely work for Kimball Hill.
There are places that have that kind of system where you need a local trail permit to ride on the trails. Yeah, that does happen. I think, New Hampshire, you need to have a trail pass on any of their trails to ride them, which is a separate thing. It costs like $35-40.
So it's a one-time thing every time you wanted to go through. So
No, it's a pass. You get a sticker.
Yeah. Okay. It's not like every time you wanted to go through, you'd have to get a permit.
No. It's a yearly thing. You have to renew it every year.
Where is that?
In New Hampshire. Yeah.
I'm wrestling with is that when you are using, a residential, basically people who have a residential area, and on Windmill Hill, on either side, it's a residential area, and the road between those two sides is pretty bad. And so I guess, if that becomes, maybe this is also the coronavirus kind of problem, because people are out on the road a lot more now. Nevertheless, I feel that, we need to protect, residential areas from, the motor vehicles can be very intrusive. That's just my sense about it.
Yep.
I guess my question would be, why do those people get preference that they have a dead-end road when everyone else who live on dirt roads and those other big bikes are coming by, they have to deal with them because they're on a legal road and they're legally licensed to ride on those roads. So I don't know why they would get preferential treatment.
There are vehicles, if people drive their cars on those roads.
Right, yeah.
So that, this is a road that's not being used. And, you know, and so it suddenly it is being used, and it's being used in a way that is, is difficult for people to deal with. I'm not, I think you guys, I understand, what it's like. And, but if there are places, as you say, there are places where you can get passes to go through them, and they have beautiful roads and Pisgah and so on and so forth, and so to interfere, if people are finding that this has been hard for them, I think we need to be sensitive to
Sure.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but again, I think that the major portion of that whole complaint was from the BDR people publicizing that as a route.
Well, that's off.
And that's gone.
That's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So maybe we should talk to them again now that that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have a question about, you guys were going to talk to your lawyers at one point to find out what was actually permissible on a legal trail, what kind of control, I know.
Right, I was going to, I asked Russ about that, but you said you had the information on that.
We do have the information on that, but we were also waiting for a site visit if you were going to do one.
And do we still want to do a site visit, or?
That's up to you folks.
I mean, Sheldon went, and I'm good with that, but we can have one if you want. I mean, I'm kind of seeing two options at this point, maybe more. One is we leave things as they are, and if those roads are abused again, then we could then do something more, or pursue the no unauthorized motor vehicles. And if we talk about a permit, I mean, would that be just something from the town? You just kind of a pro forma thing, or?
Well, why would you do that? I mean, if you are.
Well, that's so that local people could use it.
You would have control over who uses
Yeah.
it. It can be as loose as those people who are against it would give him or somebody permission, and that's it.
Right.
And so if there's somebody there, well, he has permission to be there, that's all. And it wouldn't be the town, it could be those people. I would say, my personal feeling would be, let's get a hold of them and see if we ran that by them, would they be satisfied with that? If the town went ahead and did something like that. I mean, they're the ones that are being affected.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have them say yes or no to it than me as a selectman vote for it. I know.
That sounds sensible.
Okay. What do you think? So should we ask those landowners back to the meeting?
I would think that we
or
have it
just-
in the minutes who was here.
Yeah.
Contact those people who are here, and they can contact whoever and say, that's what the board is considering as a stepping stone. Would this work for you? If they say yes, to me, that's an easy one. If it isn't, then we should have another hearing, bring them back in and see if there's what do we got to do?
Yeah. That seem reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if possibly, it's resolved in a sense because the international people are not now taking it off their things. I think that's a great thing that happened, and it would have been horrible otherwise.
Right. So, Russ, you have the contact, or do you know the people who could hear? And so perhaps send them a copy of the minutes and say, we're considering perhaps having a no unauthorized motor vehicles here, and asking them to somehow give permission to riders who would ask them if they could go through. Yeah?
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Hey, Susan?
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, real quick. I'm perusing your town's class 4 road and trail policy. I would recommend you all look at that. There's some pretty good guidance in this.
Okay, thank you.
Where did you find that? Under,
It took me a while, but I
Oh,
found
was
it.
it
It's on the way.
policy?
It's on the town's website, believe it or not.
Maybe under policies, when you go to menu, maybe there's a list of, I don't know that it's there, but
Let me back up. So I went,
Under classification?
I think I did, yeah, see, I don't know how I got there now.
Forms and policies.
A lot of times it's under public works.
Yes, so
You're
forms and
Go under public
policies.
works, go under, yeah.
forms
Now,
and policies.
Forms and policies. And then it's under road policies, class 4 and trail policy.
Okay.
Being in the same area, like who plows the road and where you can park and not.
Uh-huh.
If you need a permit to haul wood to the town, it's all in that area.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's put that on the agenda again for next meeting.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thanks very much. All righty. New business. Formal request for a town Facebook page.
It has been brought to our attention that there's a group of people that would like to create a Facebook page for the town of Westminster. And at this point, it is a request. It's not, it's in front of you to say yes or no, but it has been brought to our attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a terrific idea. I mean, the question and who would be the administrators for the page? That's the
It was brought
biggest question.
as a committee would be maintaining it.
Uh-huh.
And the committee would have to come to you and report what
Does
needs
that committee have to
there.
be sanctioned by the select board?
Say that again?
Does the committee have to be sanctioned by the select board? It
Yes,
would, right.
it would be a formal
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Facebook page
Okay.
for the town.
that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have volunteers for this committee?
Not yet. I have a few names of interested folks that have brought it to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it will, this is, honestly, it's here to get you started in the thought process.
Uh-huh.
And if you were definitely against it, then we would say, okay, then it's off the plate. But if you're interested, we'll create it, create the committee. And anybody that's listening, if you want to be on the committee, please contact me, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a terrific idea. Why are you shaking your head?
No, I'm just wondering why you think it's a terrific idea.
To have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Well, people communicate in different ways these days, and they don't always read the Gazette, and they don't always look at the website, but a lot of people are on Facebook. So, for instance, one way that people are able to get into the Zoom meeting is because Alex Fact TV has a Facebook page.
It's the way of the future. If you like the town of Westminster Facebook, you will get it so much quicker than if you have to go into the town agenda and look for something, because instantly it notify you that there's a new select board meeting through Facebook instantly because you liked them, and it notify you. So it's a lot quicker way of communicating something coming up than it is to, how would you know something happened unless you went into the Gazette or look on our town website? But this way it sends you something saying, hey, there's something coming up, and it's just the way of the future.
It's pretty immediate, depending on who's administering it and if they're getting the information on there. And,
It sounds to me like if you're going to use it that way, it's going to be a lot of work for somebody.
I don't know that much about it, but I don't think so once it's set up. I mean, I'm assuming, for instance, someone in the office would be the administrator, one of the administrators like Kelly. Not to put that work on her, but once it's set up, it's pretty quick and easy to post things for sure.
You have a very knowledgeable person sitting behind me that could probably talk about
I've been
that.
eyeing him, right? I'm like giving him the, and we'll be calling on him, right?
Susan, it might be under when we do our town meeting and we have a list of all these people, some that hold positions that are unusable or we don't use anymore, fence viewers and so forth. maybe it's time that we added some positions to that list that would cover, you know,
IT kind of stuff.
a person that could do the Facebook or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, and kind of move along into the modern
Yeah.
world instead of
Swap out
staying with the coal measures and the.
Swap out the wear of coal for the Facebook page administrator.
You know, it can be a very upbeat way of communicating.
Oh, I think it's
somebody
terrific.
like Westminster Cares can really use Facebook, you know, to give out, and it's something that's more than entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just.
Could you just say your name, Russ?
Russ Lazaruk. And I'll just also add, as someone just recently moved here, just a year ago, it's also advertising for the outside. You know, as someone looking for new housing, where to move to, it's one of the first places you look for as to what's going on there. Honestly, when we looked to move here, we didn't know anything about it. We still wound up moving here, but there's certainly people that would have, you know, passed on it just going, I don't know anything about the area. So it's a good way for inside and outside. I would also suggest if there's going to be an official committee, maybe call it the social media committee instead of just Facebook, because who knows what tomorrow brings.
Excellent idea.
Right.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Russ. We'll be putting you right on that committee.
I'll jump in there.
Yeah.
So Putney and Westminster West both have Facebook pages, and we use them quite a lot, just from communicating between residents when the power was out. People who had generators or stuff or had Facebook could communicate back and forth. Hey, maybe you should go check on Mrs. Church.
Yeah.
And so it was a good thing to have. And
it's unbelievable because I use it all the time with my business, but it's unbelievable how I can find out that there's a car accident on 91 before I even see the fire department go or anything. It's just amazing how, like, what happened? Look on Facebook and somebody tells you what happened.
I think there's no question about the value of it. I think the main thing we have to decide is who is going to be the administrator and put, who they're going to be and blah, 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 blah. But so maybe we can have a notice if anyone would like to volunteer for the social media committee. Yes. Yeah. And a few other people too. That would be great. And get hold of Russ, I guess, and we can get a committee. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to sit in on that for sure.
Russ, doesn't our school have a Facebook?
I'm not sure.
Everybody does, but us, pretty much.
No, just wanted to throw that out. Yeah.
Okay.
It's how they communicate with kids.
Anything else on that? Draft of the new personnel policy.
In your packet, you have the new and the old to look at. It's brand new, so I'm not expecting a lot of conversation tonight, but it'll be on your agenda for the next at least 2 or 3 meetings so that you can weigh in on it, take your time and go through each section and make sure it is what you thought it was going to be or what it is.
Craig suggested before that we have a policy committee to go over that because particularly given the coronavirus, there might be various updates to it we need to make. So I think Craig is going to be on that committee. Yes. Thank you.
I didn't volunteer, but
I'm volunteering you.
But I did run my mouth and say that I did skim through it and read it, and there was a lot of things in there I'm starting to question, and just how we handle the help from the office to the help we handle it at the road crew. Things are changing and all the time. So.
Would anyone else like to be on that committee?
That's what I do.
Thank you. All right, Kevin and Craig. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Anything else about that? Fuel bid.
This year, for the first time, we really do have a quandary. I've given you the results in a form that you can actually see them. Allen Brothers are the low bid for number 2 fuel for our 9,500 gallons that we need. Coda and Coda came in low off-road, but didn't follow what the request was for the bid, which is a guaranteed price for the year. He came in with flex pricing. So right now, the market shows that it's very, very low, very stable and very low. Allen Brothers was second bidder at 9 cents more, and it is guaranteed for the year. It's my feeling that though Coda is 9 cents lower, it is not what we, the town, typically do. We like guaranteed pricing so that we're not gouged at the end. And so it is my feeling that we continue with Allen Brothers, but in front of you to make the final decision, because it is totally up to you. Five.
And then, but we would go with Bart Energy for the propane bid?
And Bart Industry, I have not contacted him to see if he is just propane. What it would cost us to swap out tanks and such. HB has a contract at present, and their tank has just been purchased last year. So we didn't do any negotiations with any of these bids yet. I wanted to know your feelings on this.
Do we get charged for, is there a charge for tank installation?
There usually is, the big tank that we have now.
So by the time we swap out HB's tank, which probably would get charged to take out, and we get charged to put Bart Energy's tank in.
You'll be looking at that same price.
And we do the pressure testing that needs to be done for any propane system, thinking we're going to kind of balance out and we might just as well stay with H&B as to, unless you find something different as far as the tanks go.
Looks like the difference is about $700, right? Yeah. So it would cost more than that to swap out the tanks?
I don't know.
Well, what's your pleasure? And you have to get a hold of Bart Energy anyway to ask them if...
What's the difference in the cost of swapping out the tanks? Yep.
Their price on propane may go up considerably if we don't do all three. So.
Right. Yeah. So you'll ask them about that. Is there any other information we need? That's the main thing we need information about.
That's all we have. Yep.
Okay. Well, bring that up again then. With more info.
Okay, so can we vote on the number 2 fuel and off-road?
Oh, do you want to vote on that?
Time is of the essence with fuel pricing. Lock in the gallons.
I move that we accept the Allen Brothers for the number 2 fuel and the off-road.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the Allen Brothers bids of $1.75 for number 2 fuel and $1.85 for off-road fuel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did I hear a second on that or no?
Sheldon did.
I said I recruit my, whatever the word is.
Yeah. Craig's not voting.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
And try to get, can we have the propane by the next meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Propane. Okay. The raffle.
Larry Slayson has weighed in on our thought of the raffle for the property. Now owned it for 2 years, and it's time to sell it. We're not in the real estate business. So I had a thought that we'd put it in a raffle, 300 tickets. And Larry has looked into it, and it is a lawful process, I should say. And so it's just we have to set limits and rules. And anything excess will go back to the Zudnik state as per all of real estate transactions that are done this way. So we owe the realtor, and we are owed for back taxes. So we need roughly $30,000. And
Question, realtor, why do we owe, why do we owe money to a realtor?
he listed it for 2 years for us.
Well, you don't pay unless they sell it.
He has put it in his newspapers and his.
You don't, but he didn't sell it. With real estate.
I can check into that.
I'll just tell you, I know about it.
Do we really want to? I mean, I didn't realize we were going to go this. Are we actually approving us to go out to like this? I still have a hard time with it. I'm sorry. I just don't think we're in the lottery business, you know?
You can't sell it, Craig. We've tried.
So we wait for another year, but to be, I don't know, this seems something that even when you read Larry's letter, he wasn't too keen on it, I can tell you that. There's a difference between being keen on it and being that, yeah, it's legal.
And with property moving the way it is in Vermont right now, maybe we need to change realtors or whatever, because it's like property is being scarfed up left and right.
I'm going to say we're in some good times, yeah.
So by waiting, we would lose some property tax, not very much. That's basically what we would be out by.
That's correct.
Kicking it down the road a little bit farther.
Yeah, but we're going to, if we sell it for a little more money, we get it all back. So.
Right,
yeah.
but I'm just thinking, what are the, pitfalls of waiting and not doing the raffle?
Technically interest on our money, probably, right?
Yeah.
But it isn't like we're going to lose. And with Sheldon, things are moving like crazy right now. And I just can't believe even if we switch a realtor, why would we hold the old one anything? Because they didn't sell it.
You do not. They work on commission.
So,
Susan, can I ask a question?
One question. Millie asked lots of questions. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Nate.
So, is the $30,000 is that number taking into the yearly lost revenue of taxes if somebody owned it? Is that where that number's coming from? What did we buy the property at tax sale for?
We bought it for the taxes owed to date.
Back in when? 15, 16?
No, not that long ago.
2 years.
I want to say it was 18.
Okay, so in 18, we bought it for the taxes owed.
That's correct.
Okay, so.
She was in foreclosure,
Sure.
excuse me, bankruptcy.
Yeah, I remember.
She came out, and when she came out, Larry jumped on it for us with the select board's approval, and we picked it up to get it back onto our tax roll. So we've owned it for 2 years. We've tried. We've had 2 solid bites, and they both have fallen through.
Right. So I guess to my point, I don't think we should be including in our cost lost tax revenue since 2018. We should be looking to try to sell that for our exact cost, which is the number we sold it for and any legal fees maybe we've applied to that. And the only reason I say that is I think you're a little overpriced. There's a 10-acre lot out on back Westminster Road, 10 acres for $50,000. There's 10 acres for $50,000 on James Road, both of those properties have permitting for wastewater, well. One of them even boasts it has some initial permitting through the town, which doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, I'm just worried. I get that you can't make money and you're not trying to make money, but if you're including in the 30,000 this lost revenue of potential taxes for the past couple of years, and knowing that site is a piece of crap land, to be honest with you. You got access by right of way. It borders 91. It's not nice land. So I didn't know if maybe there's some room there to help you guys dump this by really seeing if there's a lower dollar amount.
By law, we can only sell it for what we are owed. And so the last 2 years, we've owned it. So there's been no taxes assessed to that property.
Right. So you're not including that in the 30,000.
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, right. I wish you continued good luck.
But just so I know, going back to what Nate's saying, if somebody came in and offered us, let's say 25, which we haven't been offered anything other than those two people, we as a town could make that decision to sell it at a $5,000 loss. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then maybe we should change realtor and say, hey, listen, if that realtor thought it wasn't worth 30,000, then why did we list it with that realtor? I think we need to maybe do a little more homework with what Nate's saying and bring a realtor in and say, hey, listen, realistically, what can we get for this land?
I mean, I think the raffle idea was creative, Russ, but looking at Larry's letter, he's not really thrilled with the idea. And he came up with many questions that it would take us a while to figure out how to do it.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever been done before. That's
mm-hmm.
correct. Why there's so many.
Yeah. And if there are all these questions, plus then there would be 7,000 more that we don't even know about at this point. So
I read it. I thought the same thing.
Yeah. So do we need a motion to? No, you can.
You're not doing anything. You're tabling it.
Okay. So. Any other comments on that?
So Russ, you are going to contact your realtor and just run it by them again?
Are we going to get a new realtor?
No, that's up to you.
I don't see much sense in staying with the one we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
But I'd like to know about this commission thing, that's for sure.
Right.
Well, I can tell you exactly. Unless they sell it, they get no pay. They work on commission.
Says the former realtor.
All of the realtors do that.
Thank you for your expertise, Toby.
Certainly would be nice if you could.
Okay, we're clear on our direction at the moment on that?
Yep.
Okay. COVID-19 municipal grant opportunity.
I put that on here so that we could discuss opportunity that Nate gave us from the local government expense reimbursement grant. Research, I haven't done a ton, but I've done enough where this is going to cover expenses that have been denied by FEMA. We have not done the process to go through FEMA because we are at the point of roughly somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 spent for COVID-19 expenses that were not expected.
Could you give us an example?
Sanitary stuff such as gloves and cleaners, and we have contracted our cleaning lady to do twice as much cleaning to touch the knobs and all of the fixtures of any type that are touched by the public. So you start doing the math, and we tried the best we could with what time we had, and we're like we said, we're up to about $1,500. We have contracted with Alex to do a little bit more, so that would be part of this. And so anyway, I haven't got Fact TV's bill yet, but I have the other. So it's a work in progress, but if you want me to continue to go through this exercise, I would definitely do it.
What about our special town meeting? Would that come under it?
No, that was nothing to do with that.
Had everything to do with COVID-19. That's why we had to do the special meeting outdoors.
Because we had it outside, you mean, where we had it,
Yeah,
right?
and we had to set up for it and basically do everything to get it under COVID-19. So I wouldn't see why.
So the porta potties were donated. The sanitation materials we did have in the price that I just quoted. Our whole mic set was donated from Floyd Lawrence. So we didn't have a lot of out-of-pocket costs on that.
Okay, I was just curious about it.
Yep.
Okay. What's your pleasure? Doesn't seem at the moment. Is there a deadline for that if we incurred more?
There is now.
September 1st,
There
right?
wasn't, but there's applications are due September 1st.
I would certainly apply for it if there were, I would think that we'd be foolish not to apply for it.
Not only that, we're not out of it, so can we, if we have to go and put money into another room to set up so we can have meetings, now would be the time to look at it, you know?
Put that on your list then, Russ. Anything else about that? Russ is going to continue to pursue it. Cemetery deed approval.
We have a cemetery deed in front of us from Richard and Barbara Taylor for lots 95 and 96 in the new cemetery. I would need a motion, and then I would like the chair sign this.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Kevin, seconded by Craig to approve the cemetery.
It was me that moved it, actually.
Say it again. Yeah. To Richard Taylor and Barbara Taylor, 2 burial lots, 95 and 96, Section E in the new cemetery. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I'm not sure where I should sign it, but I'll find out. I've got it right here. I just have to, I want to sign it on the right line. We'll wait.
Okay.
Manager's report.
Just a few things. Tax bills went out 8/6 by 11 a.m., which was the interim tax bills with not a set education rate. So it is our best guess that it was going up 3% from the last year's rate. And I got that from a pretty reliable source. It will all be filtered out in your next bill coming somewhere between October and November. We're supposed to get our education rate by late August, early September, and we'll pass it along as soon as we can. Your tax bills will be in a very bright green this year, your second bill. The audit was held on the 30th and 31st. It went very, very well. We have our tax sale set for August 27th at 11 a.m. here at the fire station. We have, in your packet, you have 8 properties that are still looking to be sold. We do have negotiations with 2 of them already, so it might be down to 6, but right now it's 8. In my presence now, I have masks from Vermont.
Excuse me, could I interrupt for just a second? What is the meaning of paid recently with effort? What does that mean? With effort?
It means that they were either set with a contract with me, or they started to make payments that would get them off of the second year tax for this tax sale. So there's effort being made to pay their bill.
Oh, I see.
Some of these people have never even called me.
Okay, they're
I've never
making
had
an effort. It's not their difficult.
Effort as in they're trying to pay their bill.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
In my presence, I have Vermont's cloth face coverings for everyone program. Westminster got just over 700 of them. And so anyone that wishes to obtain one, please see me. When we got them, we were pleasantly surprised to find out that the coverings have silver and copper in them so that it helps with bacteria. So again, they look like this, and they're free. So please call and get yours.
They make a longer one to go around your ears?
They don't. Sorry, that's one size fits all. Chuck and I met with the Kissel Farm on Dago Road to follow up with the site visit that you folks had done. And we have settled with her to create what she can live with and what the town has to have. So I have drawn 2 maps of the road and what's being done. So if anybody's interested, I do have them if you want to look at them. And the last one is the property on Davidson Hill that we obtained because of the unsafe conditions of the trailer is been cleaned up and it's ready for to be sold. And I have 4 interested parties that have shown interest to cover our expenses of removing the trailer, and so it will be on the market shortly.
Show them the other piece of land while you're at it.
Yeah. Thank you, Russ. Boards and commissions.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Other business?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a point of order. Am I to assume this promissory note that has been delivered reflects the last of complete and total indebtedness that remains for the town of Westminster?
I'm sorry, Kevin, I received that late this afternoon and it didn't make my manager's reports
That's okay.
literature, and I wanted to mention that, yes, that is the last payment. The grader is ours, and that is the last piece of long-term debt that we've had.
When that was no slight, you've done a great job. I just wanted to make sure that as of today, I'm incorrect in announcing just to the chair that we have no debt in the town of Westminster.
That's correct.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Debt-free. You're welcome, Kevin. Any other business?
Yes, Susan, it's Alice.
Hi, Alice. Go ahead.
I would like Russell to explain to the board what happened up in the second floor with the damage from the air conditioner. I didn't hear it mentioned tonight, and I think you should be aware of what happened.
Go ahead, Russ.
The heat pump in the center of the upstairs room the drain tube was blocked by a mud wasp nest, and it proceeded to spew water. It filled, took many days, obviously, from a drip to a problem. And the Historic Society's organ was underneath that unit, and when it had no place to go, it started to sprinkle it on top of the organ and down the wall. By the time we found out what it exactly was, the organ was saturated. No ifs, ands, or buts. It was soaking wet. I pulled it out, wiped it all up, called the Historic Society, Ruth Brandy, and Alice came immediately, and we started looking at it, trying to pull things apart, trying to get them dried up as best we could. At that point, damage had already been done. So I have contacted John T. Studley. He is creating mud wasp screens for the bottom of each one of our tubes so that this doesn't happen again. He's also cleaning the units to make sure that they're running efficiently. It has to be mentioned that that unit was the only one that had a 90-degree in the drip tube, and that 90-degree created a spot that was horizontal for a mud wasp to actually create a nest. Every one of the others are straight down, and it's very hard to obviously, to create a nest that's vertical and not horizontal. So Cole, when he got there to alleviate the water, just cut the tube and it just spewed the water all out, and we've done away with that 90 degree. I don't know why the 90 degree was placed there, but it was. So at that point, I got the idea today from Ruth that that organ needs to be removed. It is wrecked, it's ruined. So
what is the value of the organ? Do we know, or what's the?
I have no idea. So we will be removing it off-site.
Is it covered by insurance, or?
Susan?
Yes, go ahead, Alice.
Back in the 1990s, the organ was appraised at $2,000. It is a Carpenter organ that was built in Brattleboro, and they were one of the competitors to the early Esty organs. So it is a fairly rare parlor organ. Our insurance does not cover that kind of damage.
Can we see if does ours, the town hall, must have insurance? Russ, do we know whether?
I don't. I didn't call VS.
Yeah, would you?
Nobody asked me to.
Yeah, would you please? Thank you. And let Alice know and what they say.
Let Ruth know, please.
Pardon me?
Let Ruth Grandy know.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other business? Pardon me, status? Update on Henwood Hill?
No, we have nothing. We'll let you know as soon as we know. The guardrail people have it on their schedule, but we haven't heard. So we're on their docket, so I'm expecting it, pretty much any time. But
are we planning to do anything to that corner? Or are we just gonna do the guardrails?
We're going to do the guardrails and the mirrors for right now, and then you're going to reassess it after everything's done and what it looks like. Is what the last I heard.
Anything else? Date of the next meeting, August 26, 6:30 p.m. I'm assuming here, but we're going to have to think about, doesn't look like things are going to get any better. So when it starts getting cold and dark, where and how we're going to meet. So give it some thought. Go into the firehouse. I
guess it's like a dress rehearsal. I'd hate to wait till it gets so cold and we go in there and we find out we can't use it. I mean, at least if we could talk to them, see if we can, and we see what the sound's like and everything else. And if it works fine, then we know where we're heading.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the most logical thing at the moment, but, it's fairly good size for us.
The planning commission asked for us to put the big police.
Oh. Right. We met there a couple of years ago. That was good.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Oh, at the auditorium, that's also a possibility. The auditorium at the Institute?
The Institute is still locked to public use. It had its maiden voyage with the voting because we really needed that venue. So at this point, will it change before it gets cold? I don't know that. But right now, it's not available.
And the sound, the sound in this too was horrible,
It is. It's not
where the
very
sound
good.
and the police was nice. It was, I would assume for when we're zooming and all that, the police would be, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, this room is probably bigger than that.
That room is pretty good. That'd be close.
Well, let's consider it anyway, for sure. Okay. Anything else? You want to move? We go to an executive session?
I'll move that we go into an executive session for 2 different personnel issues and invite Russ in for one.
Moved and seconded, executive session, 2 personnel. I certainly don't expect we're going to make a decision.